So today I have something exciting to show you guys. 1 minute. Dun, 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 dun. This is my new toy. And there it is, dudes. This is the new camera, the new beast, the Sony a6500. Man, I've had my eyes on this bad boy for a while, and it feels good to finally have it in my hands. I decided that today I was gonna pull that trigger and purchase it, and I am pretty stoked. There she is. There she is. Well, I guess it's that time where I swap to the new camera. So, peace, dudes. One thing to note is that I also picked up this Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. I absolutely love it. And that 1.4 allows the background to look like that. That is one thing about cameras. The lens means a lot more than the body does. So if you invest in good glass, you'll have a better picture. And here we go, my dudes. I am now vlogging on this Sony a6500. I'm here in Whistler, British Columbia, one of my favorite places on earth. We're just gonna kind of walk around the village, see what's up, and kind of put the camera through its paces. I mean, reviews can get pretty technical, and there's lots of technical reviews out there on the internet. I'll kind of go through why I chose this camera, why I decided on it. I did a lot of research before I purchased it, and yeah, kind of show you guys how it works in real life practical uses. So. It's a bit chilly out here, guys. Anyways, the first thing I'm gonna cover and what I think is the most important is why I chose this camera compared to other cameras, because like I said, I did a lot of research and there's a ton of other cameras in this hybrid shooting market, both photo and video, at this kind of price point. I travel a lot, so that's kind of travel vlogs, photo, video, commercial work. I kind of do a lot of things, so hopefully that gives you a bit more insight into what I was looking for, because obviously everyone has their own things. Now, to me, there's like 3 options. So there's the GH5/GH5S, so that was one big option. The other one was the Sony a6300, which is a bit cheaper, and this is kind of the model above that. And the other one was what I previously had was the RX100 Mark V, which is this tiny point and shoot camera with one lens. Those are like the 3 for me that I was kind of tossing up on what I wanted to go with, and I eventually landed on the 6500. So to keep it short, sweet, and simple, the reason I chose this over the a6300 was its in-body image stabilization and to the advancements of technology that it had made. It wasn't huge or anything, but the in-body image stabilization was a big deal for me, so that is why I chose it on that front. Compared to the GH5 and the GH5S, there is 2 things. The main issue for me about the GH5 was the autofocus. The autofocus on those cameras is atrocious. I rely on that a lot. And the second reason is that the GH5 and GH5S use a micro four thirds system for lenses, and I really didn't want to heavily invest in that system, as I much prefer the Sony and Canon APS-C lineup, and then one day I'll upgrade to the full frame lineup. I just don't want to stick with micro four thirds forever. If you guys have been following me for a while, you will have known that I loved my RX100 like with all my heart. It was an amazing camera, but I felt like I was kind of put inside of a small box. You can't do much with it, as you can't interchange the lenses. It's a fixed lens. You can't adapt a microphone. It doesn't have a hot shoe mount. It's kind of just, it's great for travel. It's great for photo and video, but I really wanted to improve the way that I was filmmaking and taking photographs. So for me, it was a logical step to upgrade. It's really cool though, because the RX100 is like the top of the line, best point and shoot camera that you can possibly get. But like I said, it felt like I was working inside of a box. Having one lens and having no options to expand out of that is a big hindrance to me, and like I said, I really want to kind of learn more and improve, so that is the main reason I kind of left that camera. I do miss its size. It was seriously that big. It could fit right in the pocket, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Even though I've said all of that, do not get me wrong, the a6500 definitely has some pitfalls that it struggles with. So I have 3 main issues with this camera, but the way I see it is that there is no perfect camera, and all 3 of these issues sort of have a solution, so that's why I ended up choosing it. Issue number 1 for me was the battery life. As I had heard, it was really, really terrible. and I'm not gonna lie, it is really, really terrible. But the temporary solution is buying more batteries. I have 3 of these bad boys on me at all times, and I can get through the day of shooting. I've filmed projects with this camera and it works out fine. It's not ideal having to swap batteries, but you can get through it. Issue number 2 was the LCD screen on the back. My previous camera, the RX100, you could flip it up and see yourself. So when I'm filming stuff like this, I can see what I'm filming and the framing and stuff. But right now I can't. This thing kind of tilts backwards, but you can't see yourself on this side of the camera, which is an issue to a degree, but the autofocus on this thing is really, really good. Or at least I hope it's really, really good. So I should be staying in focus a majority of the time. And for that, I can live without it. I mean, it's nice to have that, but I can live without it. One other thing to note about the LCD screen is that it's bad. Like in the sunlight, I was just filming out there. I'm in the shade now, but when I'm out there filming, you cannot see anything. It's just all washed out, no definition. It's a poor screen, and I'm sure they could have implemented a better one. On the RX100 5, it's very good, but on this camera, for some reason, it's quite bad. The solution to that is the electronic viewfinder, so you can put the camera up to your eye and you can still see while you're filming a live view of what your output's gonna be. And so I was using that, and that was an okay solution. Still, I prefer having that LCD screen, but what are you gonna do? And my third and final gripe isn't necessarily with this camera in particular, it's kind of with Sony cameras in general. I'm not a huge fan of their lens selection, and the lenses they do have available are very, very expensive compared to other manufacturers. And my solution to that and how I got around it was using third-party lenses. So right now I'm using a Sigma lens. I believe it's the 16mm f1.4, which is amazing, by the way. I really love this lens. So yeah, I've been using Sigma. I'll probably invest in quite a few more of their lenses, maybe some Sony lenses along the ways, but compared to like Canon and Nikon, who have way larger lens selections for a much better price, Sony doesn't have the most affordable glass, but I mean, their glass is very good. It just comes at a higher price point. So that's also something to take note of. But other than that, taking those things into account, I'm actually very, very happy with this camera. I really don't think I could have done any better going with any other one. So I'm very glad I decided on this. It is so depressing having all of this snow around me, having the mountains be right over there, and me not having gear. I seriously came up with just the camera, no snowboard, no snow gear. So I can't go up on the mountain. Hurts my soul a little bit, hurts the soul. There it is, my dudes. We are back from Whistler, and in fact, it is a couple days after being back from Whistler. As I had said, this video is very sporadic, but I've gotten to use this camera even more, and I'm still falling in love with it like every time I shoot with it. Before I end off the video though, there are 2 important things I want to note that I haven't shown you guys so far. One is the picture taking abilities. I'll throw some up on the screen right now. Note that these aren't anything special. These aren't anything that I've gone out of my way to get. These have just been pictures I have taken and snapped along the way of being out shooting with this camera. I'm really impressed in the way that it functions in kind of post-processing when I'm editing the photos, the shadow recovery, the details and the highlights and everything. Very impressed with its dynamic range. I think it's done great. There's no science behind that. That is just what I've noticed. Also, I shot a client project with a lot of low light. It was a laser tag thing, so it was in the dark. I'll throw some clips on the screen now of how it performed. Note that this was with this lens, the 16 to 50 3.5 lens, so quite a bit slower than this lens. This lens will make a huge difference when filming in low light, but I think it handled itself very, very well for being in a completely pitch black, dark room, running on a lens that is f3.5, which is quite slow for low light shooting. So with an f1.4 lens on there, like I said, investing in glass is very important. But with this lens on there, you'll look great. Anyways, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you so much. See you all in another one.